With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
This is the Ospreys Diary.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zach Finch. I'm joined once again by the ever-glorious Grant Burney.
Evening.
Joined by Josh Lawrence, again, returning.
Evening, everyone.
And our foreign correspondent, Jack, has joined us back once again for the start of the season. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. I'm good, boys. I'm good. Hope the rest of you are good as well.
Before we get onto the rugby side, how was everyone's summer? Anyone doing anything particularly interesting? Other than look at WR press releases and cry.
Did manage to get tickets to go see Oasis. That was a good laugh. Outside of that, it's been forgettable because of all the drink, I would say. I'm not condoning it, but yeah.
What did I manage this summer? Alanis Morissette. I wasn't expecting to go to that, but based on the conversation I had with a mate of mine when we'd had a few beers, he thought I'd said yes to go it. Not quite what I said, so that would be interesting, is what I said.
Good times. Let's start off with some news then. Let's go for a quick recap of all the transfer shenanigans that's happened over the summer. We'll start off with a signing, the one and only signing. Harry Williams, the former Scarlets and Ampthill scrum half, has joined the Ospreys on a permanent deal. The 22-year-old started at Scarlets, but was always an Ospreys fan, like everyone born in West Wales. And moved over from Australia after spending a couple of years out there playing for a team name that I really can't pronounce in the arc through Premier Division. The former under-20 scrum half has spent time with the GB7 team and looks like he's been decent, in a bit of decent form. What do you think of the signing, boys?
Well, the Ospreys were saying, when they said, we've got a few more signings to come, and they're saying there's a scrum half coming, it sounds like they've been lining them up for a while, so I think the Ospreys see quite a lot in Harry. And again, all I've seen is his appearance in the friendly on the weekend for a short period. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure how he's going to go, but the Ospreys seem to have a bit of faith in him.
Yeah, I always thought he looked good at under 20 level. Whenever I saw him play, he always used to stand out because he's got a great head of hair and he's always got his hair in like a man bun, or it was ponytail. Not sure what you'd call it, but that would always make him stand out. But yeah, he always looked really creative. I always thought he would have broken through at the Scarlets, but obviously they've got Gareth Davis and other good nines. We've obviously got Kieran Hardy now, but they had other good nines coming through at the time.
Didn't they have literally 3 Wales scrum halves in the squad at one time?
Yeah, it sounds very Scarlety. But yeah, I think he'd be a great pickup for us because if we're likely to have Ruben and Kieran in the Wales squad, then we need 2 good backup scrum halves, especially if they're in the Wales squad. We need 2 nines to train with. We can't be training with one 9. So, yeah, I think it'd be a really, really good pickup.
I forgot he was that Harry Williams as of Wales under-20s, but yeah, obviously the hair that should have known. Yeah.
Yeah, he takes inspiration from tips for that haircut, I reckon.
There's also that is the only main signing of a main squad list. We've had a couple of academy pickups come through as well, which I'm not too clear on. I'm very unresearched. I don't know if you can tell. I don't pay attention to rugby all summer, but we'll go through our squad in a bit further detail further on. We do have a couple of leavers to add to our initial leaving list as well. It's been confirmed that Will Spencer has moved to the Pro League, of which we'll wish him the best, as his form during our time in our space was something we'll probably miss. Don't you think, Jack?
Yeah, I think so. He's a good player, but it's another player, going over to Pro D2 from one of the regions, isn't it? I think, he always contributed well, and I honestly wish him all the best over there. I mean, it's not, it's not an easy league, is it, Pro D2? It's a bit of a slog. So yeah, wish him all the best.
Yeah, never let us down. He was a short-term signing, wasn't he, for Adam Beard, and Adam Beard's long-term replacement. His replacement, I don't know if it's going to be long-term or not with Ryan Smith, but yeah, it's just a shame we couldn't squeeze Will Spencer because he was great for us.
Yeah,
I was going to say, maybe a little concern at lock with Will Griff has also been confirmed to have left us. I think got confirmed today at least, which is once again a loss. Carl Man made about 60 appearances over some Ospreys, and last appearance in Johannesburg, which he put in a proper shift, which is a shame to see him go.
Yeah, he's been ravaged with injuries, isn't he, poor guy? And he gets on the fringe of the Welsh squad and disappears again. And poor guy. It's a shame to see him hang up his boots, isn't it?
It is. He's always looked good, but I think just hasn't quite kicked on as we'd quite like. And I guess with shrinking squad sizes and everything, it's just sometimes you have to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some actual rugby then. Exeter on Saturday. We unfortunately started our pre-season with a 38-24 loss at Bridgend to quite a strong Exeter side. Grant, you're down the game. What did you make of it?
If anyone's watched the highlights, it doesn't really tell the tale of the game. It looks like a really free-flowing game. And to be honest, it was from Exeter. But it took us a long time to get going into the second half. Exeter came down with 2 matchday 23s. Okay, when they named the side for the second half, they named a 1 to 15 and a full bench as well for the second half. So when you say it was a strong side, I think it was the entire squad everybody came down. We did look really rusty around back moves. It got better throughout the game. A few changes might have made a difference, or just a tiring Exeter, disorganised Exeter defence might have made a difference. But we were under pressure in the line-out. Okay, we really struggled in the line-out. Okay, we struggled in the scrum. So again, it's something to do with squad depth. And then when the Ospreys are missing a few players, and you've got some of the second and third choices starting, then you can get exposed. It was some nice rugby at the end, some really nice rugby at the end in terms of beginning to move the ball about. But again, before that, we didn't have a lot of space. And when we did get the ball, we were dropping it, passes were going astray. It was a difficult watch for the first half, and the atmosphere was pretty much, dead. I think as we started playing a bit more rugby, then cheered a few people up towards the end. So I can't say there were many standard players. Harry Deeves again, shock horror. Put himself on the line a few times. Luke Morgan looked like he's lost no pace at all. Some of his defensive efforts in terms of snuffing out some moves were outstanding. You thought Exeter in and you appear from nowhere and smash someone. Well, knocks him over with momentum as opposed to smash him. He's not that big, is he?
Yeah, I think looking at the team that was picked, it looked like a pretty much scratch backline. Obviously, they've been training together over the summer, but of that backline, you're probably looking at 2 players who are going to be in our starting team throughout the season, potentially. Maybe Jack Walsh and Keith.
Yeah.
Jack Walsh or Nagy and Keith. So it doesn't concern me too much if the backs play wasn't what it should be, because there'll be 5 new players to go into there. The scrum concerns me a little bit, and the set piece in general, because I don't think that pack's going to look too different with the Welsh boys. You've got Gareth Thomas to come back, potentially Sam Parry in at hooker, but
you got Derby as well, haven't you?
Yeah, true, Derry in a hooker, but yeah, it does concern me a set piece, because I was hoping Reece Henry would kick on this year, and it is his first game back, so it's you don't want to be too hard on him. But you're thinking you're probably going to rely on him as the first choice tight end this season. So if our scrum is going backwards against Exeter, who aren't renowned for having a particularly good scrum, it's a bit concerning.
Top vote there's still about. Yesterday, he came on for the second half. He looked like he was struggling towards the end. It did look, well, a lot of them looked like they were blowing a bit. Okay, like you said, considering the rain we've had, things had dried out on Saturday, and the pitch looked rock hard. Sometimes the ball bounced, it was bouncing miles up in the air. It looked like it was a plastic pitch at points. So, yeah, maybe that might have contributed to people's willingness to throw themselves about the pit as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, we've only got 1 preseason game, isn't there? Because we've got we were down at Bristol today. Did I see that we were doing a preseason game at Bristol today? So we're doing a couple of behind closed doors ones by the looks of things. But yeah, I don't know why we haven't organised potentially a couple more.
There was supposed to be a game against Leinster, and that fell through. I think Leinster pulled out. I think was the version I heard.
Oh, that's a shame. That'd have been a good test, to be fair.
Yeah. But going back to the backs, okay, we started the game without 3 full backs playing. How many teams ever do that? Sure. Yeston playing on the wing, Jack at 10, Nagy playing. And Yeston looked a lot more comfortable when he was moved to 15. I think he enjoyed it. Well, he did enjoy himself a bit as well when he moved away from the wing.
How did Conor Moyes get on at 13? Because I always thought he was a winger.
I think he had a bit of a tough time with the way Exeter were attacking and how rusty and disorganised we seemed to be. So I don't know if, as you mentioned, there's players there who probably haven't played together ever. Well, there's players who definitely haven't played together before, and I wouldn't read too much into how his performance went. I think I think he was in a boot at the end of the game on a sling. I'm sure I heard a message from Nick saying he'd taken a bump.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they see the pecking order as, because he had Falconer Singer. I know it's just pre-season, and Tom Florence on the bench. You would have thought that at least Florence, maybe he would have wanted to give some game time at 13.
He did come on in the second half, and Flossie did quite well. First time he touched the ball, he was cut in half. Love him. But after that, yeah, I think he thought, right, back in the game, yeah.
How did Moriarty look on debut as well? He looked good in the Ospreys kit.
Quietish. Yeah, stupid, yes. And yeah, didn't do anything stupid, which is a great sign.
Long may that continue. I give it 2 weeks.
Well, first game of the season. Yeah.
Moriarty, I don't know what could go worse. Moriarty out in South Africa. That's a recipe for disaster, I feel.
Yeah. The other thing about the game, when you look at the ground, the Ospreys realise they've got a lot of things to fix. They said up front, okay, things won't be right for the first game. They might not be right for the second game. We've got Zebra as the first home game of the season. There might well be a few issues around the ground for that, and they're hoping, but by the time they get into the third game of the season, they're hoping that things will be sorted. So there's issues with people getting in terms of like Wi-Fi signals for people scanning tickets and things. There's issues with seats, there's issues with toilets. The Ospreys know they've got a lot to do, and I think, Saturday was a little tester. I was giving them a few indications of what they need to address first.
Yeah, I was going to say, was the atmosphere at Bridgend, at least pre-game, before rugby started, vibrant and something that you expect to come. I was going to say, for the pre-season friendly, it seemed like a pretty decent showing in terms of numbers, if nothing else.
It was a good crowd for a pre-season friendly. Lots of people were outside, mind, when we kicked off again. People coming through the front gate didn't have any issues. There's plenty of like sort of queues to get through the front gate. But the people, the majority of people who were there were on the main terrace, and if they queued at the back gate, they were waiting up to half an hour to get in. So again, there was only 2 food stalls there, but Swansea Food Festival was on, so they know that they couldn't get everyone in that they wanted. So I think they knew some of the issues before the game, and yeah, they'll be addressed. So yeah, start of the game, like I said, we were looking a bit very rusty, and Exeter were throwing the ball about, and it was it was a bit quiet for the first half.
Yeah, saying that, I met a lot of boys getting their first start of all sense in senior rugby. Like the bench is packed of under 20s talent. You look at Dylan James, Ewan Cornelius, or Erasmus, they've all been around the 20 setup. It's like getting them thrown in against Exeter's team, who have just spent God knows how much bringing in a load of Australian overseas talent. Sort of maybe that's one fair comparison. We're going to hype once the season gets underway proper in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
Shall we move on then into Nick, while he couldn't join us tonight, has managed to put together a lovely little depth chart, and we've put together some slides, which I think is probably worth looking through in this place of time.
Yeah. Right.
Currently, in the squad, we've got around 44, 46 players, which is not massive, but it's sort of online. But that's including a lot of academy talent. Currently, we're looking pretty okay.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, you look at the spread there, and okay, you look away. We're only 2 deep, and you can probably, when you pool 6 and 8 together and 7 together, we got plenty of back rowers. And again, when you go down to 12 and 13, you've also got Tom Florence. We've included on in the wingers in that group, so we got 6 centres in the squad. I think the pleasing thing for me is when you just start looking at the colour coding, which is not much use if you're listening just via the pod and not looking at any graphics. But we've got a lot of under 25s. We've got a lot of 26 to 29-year-olds. There's not that many age people in the squad these days. You've got Tom Botha, Sam Parry, and Luke Morgan, 33 years plus. Apart from that, we've got a fairly solid, youthful squad. We've got a lot of under 25s. I was going
to say, there's only 6 players over the age of 30, which is ridiculously young. Yeah. And we're not lacking experience either. We're getting a lot of players into sort of peak 26, 27, which is the main core of our squad, which is looking really promising going forward.
Yeah.
I'm maybe slightly concerned in the back row. I imagine we'll see Ross Morassi sort of moving around a lot, and we'll be seeing James Ratty and Rhys Davis at 6 a lot.
But yes, when you realise there's a few people who are back 5 players, isn't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got, for a small squad, I think we've got the right sort of blend there. There's a few youngsters included in here, which the Ospreys have named in the official squad. So we've got people like Ben Evans and Keelan Cullen appearing in there as well, as well as some of the names we were expecting to see. So I think those have been added fairly recently to the main squad, at least by the Ospreys website information anyway. Thanks, Nick.
I was going to say, as far as we can tell, there could be a couple more which will come in and out. There could be a couple less that won't get a look in, but just training with the senior side as much as they can, and looking at sort of Dylan James, who I don't think we're going to, if we're bringing on a 19-year-old who says URC game, I think something might have gone quite wrong.
Yeah. But Dylan James is the mirror of his dad. He is Paul James reincarnate, for better or worse. Probably for better when you're a prop. Massive.
Shall we go into a bit more depth, position by position, then? Well, we'll start off with academy allocations, even.
Yeah. Do you want me to run through this?
Yeah.
Right. It's, you wouldn't say it's an even spread throughout Aberafon, Bridgend and Swansea. Aberafon have got 5 players. They've got Dylan James, Kevin Carson James, Owen Erasmus and Connor Moyes. Bridgend have got Evan Hill, Tom Florence, who's a local boy, Ben Evans. And then the majority of the players are tied to Swansea. You've got Cam Jones, Cian Hire, Liam Williams, Ben Roberts, Jack Hoskins, Jan Cornelius and Lewis Edwards. So there's a bias in direction there, and I don't know whether that's in agreement with the clubs, but it's good to see the fact that we have got academy allocation up front, and those guys know where they start from the start of the season, because there's not many players there. Like, well, the one name that jumps out as me will be around the main squad will be Tom Florence, maybe injury dependent, on other people maybe, but so those players should get a reasonably regular season or game time at the Super Rugby Cymru this year.
I can see Cam Jones coming in quite a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, with Garen Phillips is going to be involved in Wales going forward, like he was over the summer. You could it'd be Stephen Thomas and Cam Jones is sort of our two go-to. And Cam Jones, while a few appearances he has played, has looked quite good. Proper unit he is as well. Absolutely massive.
Number one priority for me is a prop. I don't want him running around the pitch. I want him anchoring scrums. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the makeup of the squad. Looking at the main players, there's a few of the fringe squad players that haven't been put into these lists. But looking at loose head props, and there's looks like there's reasonable depth there, doesn't it?
I was going to say they're all players that you sort of want in a game. Like, you look at any of those players, and think I'm not upset if any of them are starting particularly.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to be depth-wise. Is there any gaps you boys see in any particular front row, at least?
I'd say tight head for me. I'd probably like someone in between both and sort of the younger props, age-wise, maybe like late 20s. Reece Henry's going to feel like a new player because he wasn't available at all last year, and I think he could be knocking on the Wales door if he gets to run a games together. But yeah, we could have done another tight head for me. But yeah, I agree with you on the loose heads, and probably the same for hooker. I wouldn't be disappointed with any of those boys playing. I think they'll do the show proud.
In terms of cover, yeah, Ethan Lewis. Oh, sorry, Lewis Lloyd. You can probably drop into the back row as well, given his pace. In terms of squad cover, but Cian Hire is another interesting one in terms of whether he comes through the season, because he's been built up as one for the future.
Big boy as well, 6'2", 19.5 stone. Like, it's not small.
He was out in South Africa as well, wasn't he, at the end of last season? So he's been in and around the squad, and he's, I assume, been training with them and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Cian Hire this season, because I think he might get a bit of game time, or see how he goes.
Yeah. Okay. And again, the way Nick Williams has prepped all this, so thank you, Nick. Okay, he's just grouped back 5 forwards together, because you realise we've got second rows, we've got players who can play almost anywhere, and then we've got back 3 players, and again, those back 3 players can probably play in any of the 3 positions in the back row. But
here's my question here: how many of these players are going to get Wales call-ups, and what are we going to be left with throughout, Six Nations? Because I think a few of them could end up going, and then
I mean, there's going to be calls for your Morgan Morris to get called up if he gets in any sort of form. Yeah. Morgan Morris probably should have been capped quite a long time ago.
Should have been.
Always been knocking on the door. Ross Moriarty might be looking for another way in, although whether he's still in Steve Tandy's eyes, who knows? It depends. Once again, if he gets a lick of form. There's a disturbingness about at least our out-and-out flankers and number 8s that you could all sort of see them getting Wales call-ups.
Yeah.
As an individual. You don't see them all going together, naturally. But you could see at least 2 of them going quite comfortably.
Yeah. Again, if Moriarty ends up back in the squad, Deasy is knocking on the door, isn't he? Morgan Morse is knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Jack
Yes.
Morgan's locked in. If he's not in the Wales squad, something's gone terribly wrong.
So the concern about our back row is they're too good.
Yeah. Exactly.
My concern about our back row is I think we don't have that many out and out open side options. Like we have Jack and Harry, and then it's a bit rare. Like Morgan Moores can do a shift there.
Yeah.
But if two of them in Wales squad, you've got 1-7 going through the international break.
Well, Gwilym Evans played on the weekend. He's academy and he's with Aberafan this year. He's come from Aberafan. I'm not quite sure where he's placed, but Gwilym Evans is another one, another youngster to add to. If you just look dedicating people in roles, he's probably third choice 7, then maybe.
Other than that, we're looking pretty solid. I'm a big fan of our lock options in that they're all people that are just going to like smash into you and make it hurt. And hopefully, with James Fender stepping up and taking on more of a line-out role that Beards left avoid, and Ryan Smith as well coming in and adding some leadership, should hopefully bell in quite quickly.
It's almost like James Ratty will be a bench player. He can play for Wales, but he's probably going to be a bench player for the Ospreys because he can cover,
4, 5, 6, 8.
4, 5, 6. Yeah. Or he might well be a regular first choice 6 with Moriarty at 8 even, and you start wondering what we're going to do with Morgan Morris and Morgan Morris. Nice problem to have for Mark Jones, isn't it?
I was going to say, sport for choice.
Yeah, I'd say those back 3 options at the bottom. I think that's better than any of the other regions. I think you'd be happy if you saw a Wales squad with those as your back 3 options, to be honest.
There's some good players in the other squads, isn't there? But if you name the entire back 3 options, there can't be anything like that.
I was going to say, you look at that as maybe some of the best back row options in URC in general.
Yeah.
In terms of the balance around it as well, and just how many different combinations that you have that could all just work and all just line people up and smash them over the game lines.
Forgetting the Wales chances with Ross Moriarty, he might be banned for a few games anyway. Thinking about it, so
I do. He wasn't out of place at all on the weekend, that you could see from a distance.
I mean, he went for an entire stint with a Predator without openly punching someone. Like that takes a lot of restraint.
If you just look at the photo from the game on Saturday, like Deavesy, he's not the tallest guy in the world. He's built like a tank. Moriarty makes him look little.
Yeah. I think with Moriarty, he would have to be surely tearing up trees to get back in the Wales squad, though. Just with his age, just thinking with his age profile and the amount of great back rowers we have in Wales. I don't know. I think if you were to go for one older 8, they'd probably go with Falatau if he's fit. And then would you then bring in a Morse because he's a bit younger and give him some experience? I don't know. I hope for Ross's sake that he's tearing up trees and for Osprey's sake. But yeah, I don't know if I do see it. But it's difficult to tell as well because obviously new coach coming in, Tandy, he could sort of go in any direction. Whereas with Sherratt, you kind of knew if there's a 50-50, the Cardiff player would probably get it.
It's hard to see now. I mean, he is still a former Lion, which is worth remembering. And like 50 caps for Wales, he's always going to be in the look-in when someone says we need more experience at the side. Adding in a proto-bastard 6 to go on along with Moriarty and then put Jack Morgan at 7, and suddenly you've got a back row that's just like going to smash into people for hours. Which is certainly a nice niche to have.
Yeah, brings a bit of edge, doesn't he? And that's something that you've always got to consider. And looking forward to seeing it for the Ospreys as well this season. To be honest, I think he's a really good signing, and he's looking in good shape. To be fair, he's still a big boy, but doesn't look to be carrying much, too much body fat on him, and he's looking. I thought from what I saw, he's looking in really, really good nick. But he has had some serious injuries and stuff as well, so we'll see. But it's gonna be interesting to see how he goes.
Yeah, definitely. Because historically, we've kind of gone for a second row at 6, haven't we? Whether that's a James Ratty or even a Hugh Sutton or someone of that sort of ilk. So it'll be interesting to see now if they don't necessarily go for that extra line-out option. I know Moriarty can be a line-out option, but I know he's massive, but he's probably not as good a line-out option as a Ratty at 6 or even a Reece Davis or a Hugh Sutton at 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where Mark Jones goes with that, especially as you said, with the line-out struggling maybe a little bit on the weekends, whether you'd want that extra line-out option there.
I think the big thing about Ross Morris is it gives us more options at 8. Morgan Morris played a lot of minutes last season, especially Morgan Morris.
Yeah.
And it's like giving him just some time off, because towards the end of both last season and the season before, Morgan Morris was gassed.
Yeah.
Like, properly gassed. So just giving him some time in and out at 8, and then having Ross Moriarty at 8 and then a Reece Davis or James Ratty at 6 gives you such a lot more line-out versatility, especially given we've lost Tipperick, who's been probably the best line-out forward in Europe for the last 10 years.
Yeah. What he also gives you is that kind of experience as well, right? If you think you're losing Tipperick from the pack, bringing in, as you said, Wales player, Lions player in that back row, helping bring on players like Morgan Morse, he'll have a role to play there as well, which is also why I think he's probably brought into it to an extent, because he brings a lot of experience into that pack, which is always good and will help the younger players develop as well, right? Develop people's game and also just bring a good attitude. I assume to the team as well. I mean, I say that without actually knowing anything about his activity training, but I would assume that it's good. So there we go.
You go back, okay? The Ospreys, Dan Lydiate in his latter years, okay, he was outstanding for the Ospreys, okay, and a really inexperienced team. He was like the glue that held the pack together, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got another 6 of nothing like Dan Lydiate as a player, but in terms of experience and a bit of power around the guy, yeah, ticks quite a few boxes, doesn't he?
Yep.
Okay. Right. Do you want to move on to the backs?
Let's have a look at the backs and see if the boys will see any of the ball this season.
Right. Kieran halfbacks again dumped in together. Kieran, Ruben, Luke Davis, Harry Williams. Half 10s then Dan Edwards and Luke Scully as dedicated 10s, but you've also got around that. Centres, Keith from Neath, Owen Watkin, forgotten man, isn't it? Cocknessinger, Boshoff, and Tom Florence have pushed up into the centre list there, realistically. Back 3, Keelan, Ryan Combia, Luke Morgan, Dan Cassende, Jack Walsh, Iestyn Hopkins, and Max Nagy, and Harry Houston. Harry did his best on the weekend as well. Didn't have a lot of space, but he looks quite small, but he put a lot of effort in, and he was doing his damnedest to step the entire Exeter team of points.
It's a good team to step. I think the big glaring red flag here is probably a 10.
Yeah.
Because you imagine Dan's going to be spending quite a lot of time with Wales after his performances out in Japan, and that just leaves you with probably Jack Walsh and Luke Scully. And it's like, how much rugby has Scully played in the last few years? How much rugby has Jack Walsh played at 10 in the last year and a half? How
good is Jack at 15?
Yeah. I think that's maybe the big glaring red flag about the squad. I imagine Dan Edwards is going to be playing a lot of rugby when he's around.
Yeah.
Did I read that Scully's injured as well? Because I don't think he didn't play on the weekend, did he?
No, he didn't. No.
So that's going to make us even more sure. I know we've sort of got Walsh and Dan Edwards, but then you're sort of picking up one injury, and then you're sort of having to play Owen Erasmus straight away.
Might be the making of him, but it's almost the time when you look at the experience around 10. You want Stephen, what's his name? Came from Northampton.
Stephen Myler.
Yeah, you want a Stephen Myler type character in there, don't you? If you haven't got a lot of other, you've got experienced 9s there, haven't you? Really experienced.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'd really appreciate sort of a 32-year-old fly half who can't really run, but can just kick for like just something as a bit of a mental figure. I imagine it's what Owen was doing last season, and when Owen filled in at 10 during, I'm thinking Benetton at home especially, it's like you can just click in and pull a magic game out of his hat every now and then.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. Who's the guy who kicked a winning drop goal for Leicester in the Prem final?
Oh, Freddie Burns.
Yeah, I'm surprised he weren't in for him.
He went to Romania, didn't he? He's playing in
Yeah.
Romania now. Is it like, yeah?
Like, surely we could have offered Freddie Burns some money instead of more money than the Romanian team.
I don't know, mind.
It's just someone who's sort of been around the block and knows how to win a game.
Yeah, that
if
would have been
need
a bad
be.
shout. That wouldn't have been a bad shout. But who knows what the plan is? I guess it's Jack Walsh, isn't it? I guess they'll play Jack Walsh at 10
Yeah.
as well. That's got to be the only option, and maybe looking to bring him, Max Nagy back in at 15, because there was a time when Max Nagy was, spoken about as being the next kind of big thing
I was going to say,
Welsh
there
rugby.
was
So
there's shouts of him getting a Wales call up a couple of years ago.
yeah, so maybe that's the idea, which is that give him, because last year he didn't really get a look in, did he? I don't know if that's through injury or whatever, but maybe this season they're thinking, well, give him more of a run of games at 15 and see how it goes.
It needs must, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Look at that. If Jack moves up to 10, you've got Iestyn Hopkins and Max Nagy then.
Yeah.
As your 15s.
Mind you, I'm quite happy with that at 15. You can't really complain. Iestyn was very good when he was playing last season, I felt, and he's going to have more time to kick on.
Yeah.
Max Nagy is reliable. You know what you're going to get.
The one thing that surprised me about this was when I was looking at the depth chart and Owen Watkin wasn't in red. It feels like he's been around forever.
I mean, he broke through during Tandy's last season.
Yeah. If you think about all the Wales caps and how long he's actually been around for, I was like looking for his name. I thought, wait, is he still in his 20s? No way.
Well, it's like looking at the depth charts, and you realise that Keelan is still only 27.
Yeah.
And it's like he has been around for the best part of a decade.
Yeah, if you look at that, 28. It's been he'll be a big addition to the team as well, I think, this season. Him coming back.
Yeah.
Really robust in the centres then.
Yeah. Because Owen and Kieran, they played together under 18s, didn't they? I swear they played together at like schoolboys level for Ospreys, and then just have played together for years now.
Yeah. Because Owen broke through into the Ospreys squad before Kieran, didn't he? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the squad.
I was going to say, is there anything else really missing from the squad that we're really desperate for, other than a big gnarly tight head?
Yeah. A young Tom Francis and a young Dan Bigger, please. There we are.
We just have current Dan Bigger, alternatively.
Yeah, or old Dan Bigger. Okay. Right.
Let's have a look at some regional rugby and community rugby has started back up so far in the last few weeks. We've had some results for you already. Grant, do you want to take us through?
Okay. It's a bit of a mixture in terms of how many games which leagues have kicked off. Admiral Premiership, Neath losing at the death to Merthyr 1922. The Admiral Premiership, Bonamine beat East and West Swansea. Bonamine winning that one 32-19 against Dunvant. Further east, Tondy 24, Tart Steel 21. The big drubbing of the weekend, Kenfigil 64, Crummock 0. Another local derby, Gowerton 24, Gasynan 12. I'll skip past the next one because I just cut and paste the entire league. And to finish off, Armandford 25, Trebanos 36. So Trebanos will be really happy with that result. Moving on, National League 1. Swansea Upland 16, won Arlyth 17, another local derby, won by a point. National League 1 West, Aberafon Green Stars 34, Halo Cave 17. Nice Ystafell. Couldn't get any more local than that because you can't tell where one village ends and the next one starts. 26-22 to Ystrad Gynlais. They take the honours there. Skewin losing by a point at home to Vardra, 17-18. Nantafellon 30 and Maesteg Harlequins 12. This might be the last result. I don't think there's another page. Abercrave 31, 6 winners against Billthwells. Oh, hang on, no, it does go on. Of course, somebody dropping down to League 3 then. Seven Sisters 43, Brinkhoak 28. Rickos 17, Resolven 15. Torna beating Baglan 27-10. Tonmawd, another local derby, or Tonmawd Carmarthen, Tonmawd coming out 23-22 winners. I can't believe there's enough players in Tonmawd, okay, to actually beat Carmarthen. They must be bringing people in. Okay. Maesteg Celtic 36, Nantymoel 5. Moving on to National League West Central, Taibach 41, Pyle 10. Cumtook versus Cumgrach, Battle of the Valleys, Cumtook 20, Cumgrach 21. Glyn Corrug 12, Pontrydyfen 10. Dunvant 41, Achtwen 20. And I take it back. Biggest win of the weekend. Banwen 71, Cwmllynfeth 3. There endeth the results.
There were some drubbings in there. Not really how you want to start your season, is it?
It is the first game of the season as well, to be fair, isn't it?
Yes.
Who's putting Gowart and Gosain in the first game of the season?
Well, it's almost like having Judgment Day on the first day of the season to get people in, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
There you go. That's it. Let's move on then to a big part of what we're doing this podcast today. Let's have a look forward to the season ahead in a more general sense. Let's have a look through these this first block and have maybe some predictions for the season, what we think is going to be going on and what the vibe's going to be like. I think we're obviously starting off with the Bulls away, which is maybe unideal. Following it with Stormers away, which isn't much better.
Well,
but
just get them out the way. I just look at this as, look, go out. There's first game of the season. Let's just see what happens. They've been playing international rugby as well, haven't they?
Yeah, we're not going to have internationals. It's not the worst time to play them.
It's not the best either, is it?
Is it ever a best?
No. I think the first two games are going to be really, really tough. The Ospreys set up the season hoping to be in St Helens, so it's biased towards more away games at the start of the season and then more home games at the end, where they're hoping St Helens will be ready and people will be there. So, hopefully, yes, it might be a slow start of the season and then picking up a first home game then is Zebra, isn't it? So
week after Stormers away, we have Zebra at home in Brewery Fields. Hopefully Brewery Fields up and running properly for that. Followed by Glasgow at home, which based off last season should be a pretty good game, hopefully. And then, God no, ending off the block, Dragons away.
Yeah.
Team. Well, there's a lot on the Welsh derbies now, isn't there?
Yeah.
When you go back to what's going on in Welsh rugby, I think every derby is going to be unfortunately, it's probably going to be just as niggly in the crowd as it is with the guys on the pitch. And there's guys out there potentially fighting for their careers.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't see it being a particularly pretty affair either. Saturday night in October.
The Dragons don't look bad either, actually. Looking at their squad. This isn't a Dragons podcast, but they're not looking terrible. But I thought that before. And then,
I was going to say, I remember thinking that for every season. I'm like, they've recruited pretty well. I remember 10 years ago when they got Lee Byrne and Aled Bruin. I was like, oh, yeah, they're building quite nice.
Still win that one because apparently can't beat them. But
well, they don't win many games, but they always, well, I won't say always, they regularly beat us, don't they?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I wouldn't mind them being better this year because then they'll take more scouts than just us and hopefully take some points off the people as well.
Are you blaming the Dragons for us not getting in that top half last season?
No, I'm blaming Scarlets. I was going to say, I think there's 3 evidently winnable games in there that we should be targeting, which is home against Zebra, home against Glasgow, away against Dragons. I think if we can get some bonus points away in South Africa, I don't think we're going to be too upset. I was going to say, if we can come away from that South Africa trip with 3 or 4 points, I think it's not the end of the world.
It's a chance to work our way up the table, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do think the WU stuff does put an interesting narrative on the start of the season. With all this hanging over them, it could go either way, I guess, where you could either say the players be distracted or it'll galvanise them, as you say, because they know they're essentially fighting for contracts in a couple of years' time. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Also, you know, if we can deliver, if the regions can deliver some success in the field, it might put forward a pretty positive case study that to cut down, we shouldn't be cutting down regions anyway. Maybe that's hopeful thinking, but yeah, I think it does make it more tasty, definitely.
I imagine the edge when that first derby comes around will be something I don't think any of us can quite imagine. Meaning you're going to have fans at each other's throats for, I imagine, at least for regular ones. Cardiff Dragons might feel a bit feisty.
Well, Boxing Day will be interesting then. All the goodwill and all that.
To be over by Boxing Day, yeah. It's tough. It's really tough, isn't it? You know, everyone's done their damnedest to fight for 4 regions, and the WRU are offering up 2 with a forward position to go into 3 of some description, with 4 as the last possible ever choice. And you see, like the WRPA putting out a statement today, isn't it, saying they really don't support the 2 teams for all the blindingly obvious reasons. But when you go into a consultation process, normally it's like, this is the solution we want to achieve. How do we get down the easiest possible route? And there's normally people saying, no, we agree with this. Is there anyone agreeing with 2 regions?
Yeah, I thought one of the interesting things about that was I think it was on Alex Cuthbert's podcast where, you know, even they as ex-professionals and a lot of ex-professionals who played in that successful team have said, oh, cut the regions, but even they said 2 is too little. You know, even they were saying that, and I think a lot of players have also come out and said it's not ideal to have 2. So
I was going to say, I think Stephen Jones had his first ever good take on Twitter when he said the 2 regions is just complete bullshit. It's just not going to work.
So,
you know, 4 well-funded ones work, or well-funded regions work, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, 100%.
And the consequence of going down to 2 could be absolutely horrendous. Anyway, thank you to anyone who filled in the Ospreys Supporters Club survey that we put out week before last. We've got a consultation session with the WRU end of this month. So I think we were aiming to be a lot earlier in the process, but due to holidays and commitments and various other things, we're close to the end. So hopefully the last thing of the year is our voices.
I've read this and not. We have to wait and see. God, I hope you get some good words in.
But we just want to, you know, you look at the WRU survey that was put out with leading questions and loaded answers. It's good to see some other surveys out there where people are trying to genuinely give people the opportunity to say what they think.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the worst survey I think I've ever read in my whole life. It was the last question was like, what percentage of funding should go to each different area in Wales? I was like, we don't know. You know what the pool of money is yet either. You don't know roughly what they're spending at the moment. They're just basic. I don't even know what they're trying to gain out of that question.
Well, it put me down a route of spending a fair bit of time investigating, what national sports organisations generally put into different elements of a game. Because I thought, if I could answer the question, what do you just want me to make it up? Do you pull figures out there? What do they want? Are they expecting people, based on where they've come from, to say 100% there, nothing anywhere else? Are they just expecting like really distorted results? I don't know what they hoping to get the answers and get to that question.
I'd put good money on the fact most answers won't even equal 100, because you could easily just put like 100 here, 400 there, endless pools of money.
Yeah, W budget. There we are.
Simple.
Yeah.
Although respect their forward thinking, it's not very WRU like to put out a survey to the fans. Jesus Christ, like, could it be any worse?
Would they? what I don't understand about putting the survey out to the fans from the WRU is, weren't they trying to say they didn't want fans to be dictating what the WRU was doing, the rugby clubs, about a year ago or 2 years ago? And I was like, oh, answer this, answer this. It's like, wasn't this exactly kind of what you wanted to change about the running of the WRU? So it's all very
But they've got to realise the impact it will generally have on supporters. When you look at the consultation document, it says that Model T, going down to 2 clubs, is the most feasible solution in terms of it'll be really easy. Okay. Easy? It'll be the most difficult solution you ever trying to implement when investors are walking away, supporters are walking away. Yeah, it might look great on the pitch for a year or two.
yeah. That's the big thing, isn't it?
What happens after that?
Yeah, that's the big thing, isn't it? Is that when they did this before and we got rid of the clubs and went to the regions, loads of people stopped watching Welsh rugby, and it's slowly, over the last 20 years, they've slowly built up more of a fan base. But like I can say in my family, certain people used to go and watch rugby every weekend, stopped because they were like, I don't really know, what the region is. So it's like, it didn't work before. It didn't increase people watching before. Like, why would you think it was going to have a miracle kind of change around? Because without the fans, you don't have a product, do you? So
last time round, all those original clubs still existed.
Yeah.
Okay, and people could carry on supporting their local clubs. I'm looking at the age profile of the people in this call, right? And there's people here who don't remember anything else apart from supporting Ospreys and didn't come from any other world to supporting other clubs. Is that all 3 of you?
No, I got the back end. I got the back end. I remember I still have memories of Gavin Henson throwing guy into the hoardings and
yeah. Was it a scrum half he threw into the hoardings?
Yeah. So I
can't remember. Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah. So I'm at the back end. I mean, I'm one of these sad people who still looks to see if Aberavon are playing Neath on Boxing Day and get upset when they're not. So
yeah. Oh yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah, but there's an entire generation of people who've only supported these clubs, and if the WRU get it really wrong, they might not have any of them left. Anyway, I got my soapbox.
I can speak for myself and say I'm not going to support a West Wales combined team, especially when they play in red and playing the Parker Scarlets.
If they call them the Ospreys and they play the Parker Scarlets, who's going to go? Anyway, yeah. Hopefully the WRU genuinely listen. They say they're listening, but there's listening to opinions and then deciding they don't act on them, or it doesn't make any difference. So it is almost like fingers crossed that the consultation process is a genuine process, and the 8 weeks of efforts and meetings are really influencing what they generally take to the board then.
Back on to maybe some more positive topics.
Thank you.
Yeah. How do you think we're going to do these first 5 games? Just in general, let's go for a general points tally of how many we'll have on the table.
15?
15, yeah. Josh, you got anything else? You have a different idea? More, less?
6. I'm just trying to 11.
25.
Yeah, that's nice and simple. That's simple maths. It's just 5 times 5 is 25.
Don't steal my answer.
1, 2, 3, 25.
I reckon I'm going to go with 18. 18 points.
Strong start. Jack?
Oh, good question. Oh. See, I'm looking at Zebra and thinking, are they going to be like weirdly good this season? Because they were weirdly good last season at times.
At times.
And then...
Our other bogey team.
Yeah, like...
If they're bogey team away, I don't know if they're bogey team at home.
Yeah, true.
It's
I mean...
Zebra.
Can I go like, can I have a spread? Can I like bet 2 ways here? I got 25. We're going to win every game. Ross Moriarty's going to score in every single one. There you go. I mean, realistically, I would look at maybe 15. 15, maybe. Depending on how good Glasgow are.
We're looking. I think 15 might be the goal.
I would say,
a few bonus points here and there.
Yeah.
What's our average score? Thanks to Josh's positivity, 16 and a bit.
Well, it depends. Yeah. So I'll go for an average game score as well. But I think that might be a bit biased by the 2 starting ones.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, that's the start of the season. If you look at the URC in its whole, the aim's got. It's going to be, you've got to get into the top 4 if you realistically want to win the competition. I think that'll be a hell of a challenge. Our target's got to be minimum top 8, isn't it? With the target of trying to get into the top 4, it's a hell of a challenge.
I was going to say, I think if you can get into the Champions Cup next season, I think that's a good season, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
If you get in top 8 in the league or you make it by winning the Challenge Cup, I don't think that's a because of anyone here is going to be annoyed with or disappointed with.
Well, and we'll finish with between 0 and 25 points after these games anyway. So we'll see where we are then.
That's factual.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know wrong answers here.
As long as you don't end up with -10 for something stupid going on.
Yeah, do a Saracens and that was like -89 points or something ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm not sure who's buying who houses though. Wasn't that all based on like they were buying them houses and then giving them appearance fees that they never turned up for and things like that? Allegedly, yes.
It wouldn't be like the WRU to waste money on properties, would it?
Ooh,
never.
Meow.
Sorry, they haven't wasted money on properties. They've wasted money on zip lines. Get it right.
Well, and hotels, unfortunately. And all the rest of it. Anything bar rugby, they'll stick their money in it.
I think Steve Phillips needs another party. Let's go for one realistic prediction of where we're going to finish the season. League and Challenge Cup. Jack, do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, I think get to the knockout of the Challenge Cup. I think get to the knockouts, and I think getting maybe getting to the quarters again. I mean, if you looked at the energy that kind of gave like the club towards the end of like last season, well, it dropped off a cliff after they got knocked out of that a little bit. I mean, that's a bit harsh, but like I think that it would be nice to have a cup run. I think that actually like that's there's nothing quite like knockout rugby because it doesn't happen that often. Knockout rugby, so it's always fun to see. So I think at least getting out those pools, maybe getting to the quarters and seeing from there where they can get to would be good. It's really hard to judge. I was thinking about this all day today, and the season was so like it was almost in like 3 in thirds last year, which was like not a great start, and then amazing for that midpoint, and then kind of tailed off at the end. And the question is, what team is going to turn up? And it's hard to say because after the friendly as well, like. It's hard to say, but I don't see there's any reason why this team can't finish in the top 8. I think they were unlucky not to finish in the top 8 last season, and considering the fact that they've a fairly poor start to the season and then kicked on and then kind of like it tailed off a little bit, if they can just be slightly more consistent, it'd be interesting to see where they get to. And I think that if you look at the team that we discussed today, other than fly half, they look pretty decent. So I think definitely top half. I'd say like sixth. Why not? Let's go 6th. I think it's really realistic and positive.
Josh, are you varying too far off the course?
Yeah, my thoughts are a little bit. I think what I learned from last season is we maybe don't have the squad depth to fight on 2 fronts. So potentially, we might need to prioritise one competition, whether that be the URC or Europe. And it's then, what would I prefer? Are squeezing in the top 8 and then getting knocked out in the first round of the playoffs? Sorry, not trying to be negative. Or do we want a European Challenge Cup semi, our first semi-final, and a real shot at winning some silverware? I think I'd see how the early season games go. And if we are on 15 to 20, then we can potentially look to push for the playoffs. But then if we have a poor start and we're looking like we might be pushing for 8th, I'd potentially then just prioritise Challenge Cup.
Challenge Cup teams the 4 games we got Connacht at home, and we finish off with Montpellier at home. Okay, 2 winnable games at home, and the away games, Montauban, new team. Money coming up the years, okay, but a new team into that level of rugby, and Zebra, then there's no reason why we shouldn't come out with a really good seed out of that group. Oh, sorry, out of the real group we're in, because the convoluted games.
No, definitely. I think Montauban, I imagine, will focus on trying to stay in the top 14 as well. So I can't imagine they'd be wanting to play any more games than they have to in the Challenge Cup. I could be wrong in that, but yeah, I think you're right. We've got a really good chance of getting good seeding and hopefully some home games, extra income, and yeah, get a really good crowd in.
Yeah, I'm sure teams won't enjoy coming to Bridgend really for knockout games.
Well, my favourite part of last season was after Stormers at home in Bridgend. The Stormers coach came out and blamed the result on Bridgend having an extreme amount of Elvises due to the Elvis convention in Pontcannon. Which is, you know what, it's still my favourite Welsh rugby tweet of all time.
It's one of my favourite facts to tell people here when they ask me where I'm from. I'm like, Porthcawl, Elvis convention, and I always bring up Captain Beanie for those of you from the Talbot area, because I just think he's local eccentric. It's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully we can bring back more powers of Elvis to win more games in Bridgend this season. Because I think technically in any competitive match, we're unbeaten in Bridgend since we started playing again.
Yeah.
Cardiff. We played Sale.
Yeah.
Stormers and Edinburgh last season. Is there anyone I'm missing? But all 4 wins out of 4. Let's see if we can keep that going and keep that positivity in around the club. So I'm personally expecting us to finish hopefully the 7th. I think there'll be another Welsh team pushing for that final 8th spot, and I don't see likes of like Edinburgh staying up there. I don't think Benetton are going to have a particularly good season. I can just see them all dropping off a little bit. Maybe with some renewed positivity and some teams chasing good results, we might be able to force it in our favour, at least WRU wise, which would be the dream, at least. I don't know about you guys. I think there's one last thing that I want a prediction from us from this season, and that's how many yellow cards is Ross Moriarty going to get?
None. It'll be yellow. None.
Yeah.
I can give you an alternate one, which is how many man of the matches is Harry Deves going to win for no reason?
Every single game he plays.
Quite possibly. Yeah. I fully expect him to be picked up on the ref, Mike, okay, saying something absolutely obscene at some point, man.
Yeah, it seems about right. It's Nike Young a story about him with RJ Snyman against Leinster at home last season. When Snyman came on, he just came around following Snyman, just going Snyman every time, just following him out. Before he got absolutely carted by Snyman, just like, you know what, maybe I need to take a step back.
Yeah.
And about 70 minutes, which is hilarious.
Great behaviour. There are consequences. Not the consequence you expected, but the one you deserved.
Basically, what I'm saying is I just want Harry Deves to do a lot for this club this year. I think
that's
awesome.
Yeah. Let's see if we see him in red, isn't it, at some point in the next 12 months as well.
I did have a couple more predictions if you guys want to go through them.
Yeah.
A bit more serious. Who do you guys think is going to be our biggest breakout this year?
I don't know if I want to say Tom Florence. There's a potential for, well, it depends. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I go for Flossie. You know, he's been around the squad a while. He's a big lump of a boy. If there's any opportunities, I think it might be his time to come through. And
I was going to say, we're still a little thin on the ground in the centre, so I imagine if we're getting plenty of game time, especially if given Watkins still out for a little bit longer.
It's not like he's been thrown in as a youngster now, is it? He's 22 now, is he?
Yeah, 22, 23, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, can we count Cock on a singer if he actually gets a game?
Yeah, I like that one actually.
If he stays fit.
If he stays fit and plays, like he's physical, he's big. I think he's got a lot to offer. I just wonder if he can. I wonder if he can get in the team. And obviously Ryan Smith as well, new signing. I think could be really, really good. So those are two names that I think I would watch out for.
I was going to say, I think the last one is, quite honestly, who do you think is going to be leading the pack that isn't exactly Jack Morgan? Who do you think is going to be our buying away standout?
Deves. How many times do you say Harry Deves in the conversation?
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's just, it might be time for, I don't know. Let's hope we can have more players kick through and become the world-class talents they have the potential to be honest. We've got a very young team.
Rhys Davis as well, if he stays fit, obviously. Would be another one that I think could kick on and get a Wales call up as well. So.
It wouldn't be his first Wales call up, to be
fair. No, it wouldn't. But I think that he offers so much when he's just unfortunate at the end of like last year with his injuries and stuff. But yeah, but he looks like eating people for breakfast, But
we've got the opportunity, and we to have James Fender, okay, Rhys Davis, and Ryan Smith. If they're available and fit all season, okay, that looks fairly safe.
That's a boiler house, isn't it?
Not even talking about Ratty in that conversation. You look at him as a sixer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think holding on to James Fender was a big one as well. There was talk of him leaving, wasn't there? And I think in the end, I don't know what happened there, but him staying changes the look of that.
I'm not complaining. Whatever deal was done or not done,
yeah,
not complaining. It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Excitement.
I think there's anything more that we can go through tonight, at least. I think it's just we hope for this Bulls game to start off and so our season starts proper. Until then, gents, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening or watching. Feel free to subscribe to the Rap YouTube channel. We're very, very close to 2,000 subscribers, which is honestly just mega. And if you want to give us a follow on any of our other socials, feel free to check out The Ospreys Ari on Facebook or check us out on Twitter or Blue Sky as well. We're posting regularly. We're posting more often. We'll have our pod drops as soon as they're out, so there's a place to find out about them. Feel free to come say hi as well. Until then, gents, this has been The Ospreys Ari. Cheers for listening.
Was the Ospreys Alley. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.